I think he's here.
When I think about yesterday,
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with it who lying for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely can trust you. I talk to a shorty.
What is up, guys? My name is Tausif Hussain, and today we're self-isolating and talking about the brand new iPad Pro 2020. Now, I've been kind of away for about a month or so now, and honestly, the situation that's happening around us, around in the entire world right now, is quite alarming. And to be honest, I haven't been really feeling it. Like, I didn't want to make any content or watch any content or do anything pretty much. But I'm at a point now where, and let me know in the comment section down below if you are as well, that after several weeks of self-isolation, I'm kind of sick of listening to the news and anything related to which that must not be mentioned. I'm just tired of it, and I think that we need a little bit of positivity in our lives. And I'm at the point where I need to just start making stuff again, just to get out of this rut. Like, just wanting to get up and actually be productive for once. So thank you, Apple, for this opportunity. Okay, so now with that out of the way, let's talk iPad. Now, the iPad in and of itself has been a device that I use pretty much almost every single day without fail. And it's consistently been one of my favorite products every single year. And honestly, that's because a lot, if not majority of the work that I have traditionally done on a laptop, I've been doing it on my iPad Pro. Anywhere from taking notes, to browsing the web, to consuming content, to scripting for content, photo editing, etc. It's all very easy with the iPad Pro. And the only time literally that I go to my MacBook is if I'm editing for a video, if I'm video editing, or if I'm sitting at my dedicated workspace at home to utilize the bigger monitor. Now, that brings us to the latest release from Apple, which is the 4th gen iPad Pro. Let's talk about it. Now, looking at the iPad Pro from the last gen to this gen, what a lot of you may realize is you're not really going to find too many differences. The weight is marginally different. I mean, it doesn't make a difference at all to us, to like the average person holding it. The dimensions are pretty much the same. The screen is the same. The battery life is actually marginally worse. And I'm hoping the new chip may bring things up to speed with efficiencies. But so far, I've definitely noticed a weaker battery life. The speakers are equally as amazing as last gen. I love watching stuff on it. It sounds amazing. Performance and specs wise, honestly, not that big of a difference. And that's why we're going from a chip that is an A12X chip in the last gen to an A12Z or Z chip. You're not really getting that big of a jump where you're going to like an A13 or anything like that. So what is even different about this iPad? Well, the most glaring one is the camera bump at the back. When you pick it up, that's the first thing you're going to notice on the back. This generation, you get an added wide-angle camera. Now, I've never really been used to using the iPad to take photos, to be honest, but the direction Apple is taking things, it seems to me as though that they're really focusing and zoning in on AR. And that means down the road, there could be some cool implementations that require the use of these cameras, which brings me to another new feature on the back of it, which is the LiDAR scanner for AR. So LiDAR, which basically stands for light detection and ranging, is a remote sensing method that uses light in the form of a laser to basically measure variable differences. So basically what it does is these light pulses combined with other data is recorded by the system, the LiDAR system, to basically generate precise or as precise as possible, three-dimensional information about the shape of things and the surfaces of it. So theoretically, this will enhance the depth perception when using AR applications and AR features on your iPad. Just to give you an example, here's an app we're going to try out. So I'm going to do a quick AR demonstration. This is on the 2018 iPad Pro, so the older one. This app, I saw this demonstration done over on Max Europe's channel, so I was curious to try it out myself. But as you can see, basically we're going to place a bird cage. It's trying to figure out where to place it. When I try to go on the floor, it kind of just jumps all over the place. It's a little finicky. So I could even just literally place it in midair. It's supposed to be on the ground. Okay, now we're on the latest 2020 iPad Pro, and I'm gonna try playing the same game, and let's see if it actually makes a difference. So, right off the bat, I can see that the birdcage is not going crazy. When I try to put it on the table, it shows on the table. When I put it on the ground, it pretty much shows for the most part close to the ground. It's on the ground. Okay, so it did do that better. Now, so with the LiDAR scanner, you can actually see that there's a little bit of a difference in terms of it depth mapping better, but to be quite honest, I don't know if that's a big deal for me. Not yet, at least. Another difference is that the new iPad now has studio quality mics, which is actually quite useful if you're ever in need to record something in a pinch. So when I did my AR examples a few seconds ago, you were basically hearing audio from both the iPads. And in case you missed it, here's a sample example from the old iPad, 2018 iPad. Here is a test on the old iPad, the iPad 2018. Test, 1, 2, 3. And here's a sample example from the new 2020 iPad. Here is the voice test on the brand new latest 2020 iPad Pro. So here we go, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Now, in terms of the chipset, the jump from an A12X to an A12Z, you're not really getting that big of a jump in performance, to be honest. But to be real, the iPad was already overpowered for what it was doing, and you could easily run whatever application you threw at it without any hiccups. Hoping for Final Cut Pro next. The next and final difference that I wanted to talk about is Wi-Fi 6. Now, Wi-Fi 6 is the future. No doubt about that. Not only does it help with increased speeds, but it's also designed to run a lot smoother with more devices on the network, therefore reducing strain on the router. And with the average amount of devices in our homes that use up Wi-Fi continuously and constantly increases per household, Wi-Fi 6 becomes more and more important. Literally in my home, I have like 50 connections just from this room. Alright, and that about rounds up the differences from this gen to the last. But none of these items has me as excited as the next two items I'm going to talk about. Now, as was the case with the Series 5 Apple Watch versus the Series 4, the meat of the difference comes with the software. The biggest difference for me this year is the addition of mouse and trackpad and keyboard support on the iPads. This is huge. It's something that I've really wanted on the iPad Pro for a very long time. Here's how it works. Once you pair a trackpad, you get this unconventional cursor that you can slightly modify in the settings. And this can be moved around the screen, and depending on where you point the cursor, it changes its appearance in typical Apple fashion. I mean, it's not your regular cursor. This is the best cursor we have ever made. Designed for use on your beautiful aluminum iPad. Man, that was a horrible accent. I'm so bad. I need to practice my accents more. So basically when you hover over text, it becomes like this vertical line text cursor. And when you hover over any of the other options or apps, it slightly enlarges those apps or those options so you know basically where your cursor is. My overall experience on this, I quite like it. It makes it feel unique and unlike a typical computer, so it's pretty apt, considering Apple likes to say,
"What's a computer?"
Now, the other big thing I'm super excited for is the brand new keyboard with trackpad support. Like, guys, like the iPad is floating. Like look at this. It's literally floating in the air, and it's got like a built-in trackpad. That is so cool. And although the price tag, oh man, that's gonna be a hit and a half. The moment this was announced, I got super excited. I know it's pricey, but I'm super excited for this. One, having a trackpad on your keyboard itself, that's all kinds of awesome, especially when you're trying to do things like editing video or copy pasting things, or even just basic scrolling. Like I was doing basic scrolling. Like I currently have the trackpad, Apple Magic Trackpad connected to my iPad, and even for just basic scrolling, I already prefer the trackpad over reaching to the screen and kind of like dragging on the screen. It's so prehistoric. The best thing about this keyboard, outside of the floating iPad obviously, is the fact that there will be one made for the last gen iPad Pro as well. The one that came out 2 years ago, the 2018 iPad Pro. Okay, so all right, let's conclude this thing. Firstly, you'll notice that both the two biggest hitters, like the heaviest, like the meat of everything that I mentioned above, like the meat, like the crux, like you know when you crack open like a lobster tail and like you just take that lobster tail, like the juice, and that, both those things will come to the last gen iPad as well. And that kind of sums up the story for me. Honestly, if you have the 2018 iPad Pro, there is absolutely no reason for you to upgrade to this one. And that's my personal opinion. No doubt it's going to be better than the last one. I mean, as always is with every generation for the most part, but the gains, in my opinion, just aren't enough for you to go through the hassle of upgrading, of like selling your 2018 and then picking this up and taking a loss on your 2018. Now, if you don't have an iPad and you're in the market to get one, then in that case, I'd still recommend that you scour the used market to see if you can snag one of the older gen models for cheap. But if you're super keen on buying the new one, let's say you're into AR, or you want to start using the iPad for maybe podcasting, or I don't know, some sort of studio quality mic use for it, and the difference in price is not that much for you, then sure, okay, I'd get the latest 4th gen iPad just to make sure you're future-proofed. And honestly, if you're looking for the same two iPads on Best Buy or something like that and not the used market, the difference is going to be maybe a few $100. And at that point, maybe sure, yeah, go for the 4th gen one just to make sure that, you know, you're covered on all fronts, and if Apple ever does something that utilizes the LiDAR sensors and everything, you're covered. All in all, iPad Pro has completely changed the way I use my computers and pretty much do everyday tasks on a day-to-day basis. It's a device I highly recommend, and I'm super excited for its future. Now, I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos on the iPad Pro, talking about how I use it, maybe some setups with it, talking about accessories, talking about just different things about the iPad Pro, just because I love this thing so much. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, then make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can see more of that kind of stuff. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. We're living in super weird times right now, so I hope all of you guys are safe out there. Practice social distancing. Let's beat this thing as quick as we can, so we can all get out there and enjoy the summer the way summer was meant to be enjoyed. All in all, if you liked this video, you found it entertaining, you found it beneficial, then make sure you guys go ahead and crush that like button. If you like content around tech, gadgets, filmmaking, and lifestyle, then make sure you guys go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Also, while you're at it, just go down there. There'll be like this little bell at the bottom there. Make sure you guys click that and enable all notifications from this channel. That would mean a lot. And once you hit that bell, I want you guys to make a moo sound right at the end. And once you hit that notification bell, then make sure you guys sit tight and wait for my next few videos, because I'm gonna start doing this more consistently, hopefully. So yeah, stay safe. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Go. Go.
Wait, give me 2 seconds to get into character. Ready?